Are you there?
Yes.
Excellent, fantastic. Okay, so our protocols for today, we're going to go through in both Arabic and in English, hopefully. Sahar will translate. So we'll start off by asking all participants, please, to, if you will be so kind, to mute your microphone during the presentation. The second is, if you want to leave your camera on, we'd love to see you. If you don't want to leave your camera on, that's perfectly fine. We do record all our meetings for presentation later on our own website. So please do be aware that we're recording our meeting. Please do use the chat function. We love to hear from you. And it's always good to see people's opinions during the webinar. Our agenda is coming up and the hashtag is indeed there. InSEA has a fantastic manifesto and it is available on our website. I have placed the QR code there for anybody who is not a member. You can quickly hashtag, you can use the QR code and have a little look and look at our website, scoot around, look at our manifesto. It's uploaded in as many languages as the 81 country membership has translated, which is quite a few. We're dedicated entirely to the teaching of the visual arts, and we're celebrating our 70th year this year. So Sahar, do you want to translate that now? You'll have to unmute Sahar.
أهلا وسهلا بكم اليوم 17 فبراير. اتشرفنا بمعرفتكم بالجويننج بتاعكم كلكم. رجاء غلق الميكروفونات المفتوحة جميعا لكل الناس حتى السبيكرز. رجاء فقط فتح الميكروفون لمن سيتحدث، وده هيبقى بتسلسل المتحدثين. اليوم هنطلعكم على مانيفستو إنسيا المعلن اوريدي على الصفحة الأولى. نظام المتبع، أحقية العضوية، نظام إنسيا الدولي اللي بنتشارك فيه كلنا أهميات للفنون، جمال الفن، استخدامات الفنون، وظيفة الفن في التعليم والتربية. جميل إن انتوا شاركتونا النهاردة. عندنا 26 حضور حتى الآن، 3 متحدثين، وهنبتدي نبدأ السيشن بتاعتنا. رجاء الاطلاع على حقوق العضوية وكيفية الحصول عليها. لو عملنا سكان للQR كود اللي موجود عندنا على الشاشة حاليا ظاهر. وشكرا.
Unmute, Angela.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we'll move along nicely. Our season's agenda, our session agenda today is, it's very straightforward. We have Miss Israa Osman joining us. Israa is a very excellent teacher in AI. I had the pleasure of sitting through a daily session with her, and she's going to go through AI in the classroom with a particular view into art. Israa hails from Egypt, but lives and works in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Miss Petra Wexelbaum has very kindly agreed to give a talk to us. Petra delivered a fantastic session at the recent meeting in Turkey for all InSEA meetings, and it was inspiring. So we're very lucky Petra has joined us today. And Professor Ahmed El Radwan from the School of Architecture and Urban Planning in the Helwan University is kindly going to share his experience in teaching with AI in the last section. So assalamu alaikum, thank you so very much, all of you, for joining us. We're really, really privileged that you have, and we're looking forward to hearing you today. Take it away, Sahar.
سعداء بتشريفكم. النهارده معانا 3 سبيكرز. اولهم مس إسراء، الانسه إسراء، co-founder of Education Service Management Tech. هي مؤسس ومنظم للمنتدى Service Managing او خدمات الاداره بالنسبه للتك او جن. معانا بيترا خبير من أستريا، من النمسا، مميزة جدا، أدارت حوار بناء جدا في آخر مؤتمر للإنسيا في تركيا. معانا النهاردة أستاذ دكتور أحمد رضوان، وكيل كلية الفنون الجميلة جامعة حلوان من مصر. تو سبيكرز مصريين، واحدة سبيكر من النمسا. شرفتونا و welcoming everyone. أهلا بكم.
A quick word about ourselves. Myself, my name is Angela Reid. I'm based in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and I teach high school art. I'm the coordinator for our campus. We have 8 schools, and it's a privilege. Sahrour is a professor in Helwan University in Egypt. And
that's a nice Sahrour.
And she is a curriculum and methodology specialist. And our colleague, Dr. Patrique Sahar, is not with us today, but he hails from Ghana. And he's not with us today because he's off running a workshop in South Africa, and we miss him. All righty, so we go to the next one. There we go. So the benefits of becoming an InSEA member, I can't express enough. It's a universal community over the entire world. We have 81 country memberships at the moment, and we'd like to expand. If you do indeed connect with us and decide to join after today, you're first of all part of a large community, and that's important as an art teacher because we are by nature isolated in schools. Secondly, you get to join us for our webinars and indeed get discounts on our main professional events, such as our international meetings. You get full access to a member space. You get to get access to iJetta, our wonderful magazine. And it's a professional organization which is universally acknowledged. iJetta, our magazine, I encourage you to consider reading, and indeed, if you become a member, submitting an article to. It's free to access, but it is peer reviewed. And again, it's a very big privilege of being a member. We're having an upcoming conference in Czechoslovakia next year, our World Congress. And I have to say, it is an unexpected pleasure to be invited to Czechoslovakia, and hopefully everybody can join. We will move forward now with our first talk, and we're going to move to Miss Israa Osman. Shukran jazilan ya Israa. Israa is a co-founder of a very good company. She has 10 years teaching experience within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and she has her postgraduate professional degrees from England. And I'm going to let Israa introduce herself in a second. I'm going to now go, Israa, and open up your presentation. I'm just going to click out of the screen and open yours. If you would prefer to share your screen, Israa, let me know. Are you there, Israa?
Yes, hello everyone.
Excellent.
Thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure being with such an amazing group of artists and professors of art from around the world. Yes, I'd like to share my screen with you if that's possible.
Go ahead, Israa.
Okay.
I think you need to
says,
unshare yours, Angela,
Okay.
and then Israa will be able
Okay,
to share.
Israa, go ahead and share.
it says here, host disabled participants
go.
screen sharing. So I guess that you need to.
You're on,
you
Israa.
need to-
We can see you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, because it says here, host disabled participant screen sharing. So it seems like I'm not allowed to share my screen somehow.
I can see you. Sahar, have you allowed screen sharing? I presume so. Can everybody see Israa?
We can see Israa, but we can't see her screen. So whoever's the host of this Zoom just goes down to the bottom menu where it says security, and at the top of that it will say enable screen share.
It's writing only the host can share in this meeting. You're not allowing us, dear.
Who is the host today?
That would be me.
Right.
Let
Well,
me
you
just see
go down
screen
to the
share.
bottom.
There
Go
we
down
go.
to the bottom,
The very
Angela.
top one.
Yeah, should it say enable? Well, I can't see it, but it should say enable
It's,
screen share. Yeah.
yeah, it should
No.
say.
Okay, Israa, do you want to try again?
Yes, yes, it's working now.
Perfect.
Yeah, now we can see you.
Yes.
On
Okay,
the job
Thank
learning
you.
codes.
Great.
thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you very much for the introduction. And as I've mentioned earlier, I'm really glad to be here with you. To be honest, AI is taking the world by storm in every profession and in every field, and it's going really fast, you know. But we're trying to keep up in order to become, you know, tech literate as much as possible, and to keep up with our students as well, because most of the teachers that we work with and we have communications with, they all say the same thing. Our students are way faster than us in using technology, and we don't know how we can pace up with them. So it's very, very important for teachers to stay up to date and try to follow up with all the new discoveries that is happening, especially in AI. So our experience in AI in education has been mostly general, but today is one of the very special presentations that we're going to have that is specifically dedicated to art and exploring AI in the art classroom. So without further ado, let's start together. So first thing, I want you to know that 90% of this presentation was created using AI. So I just wanted you to see in practice, how can AI do actually in your work as an educator. So this website, you can see the name here, it's called Send Steps. This one has created this presentation for me after I've put the prompt and the slide content. So this is the agenda. We have here the definition of AI and how we can use it in the art classroom. We will explore also different types of AI tools that are available. Okay, and we are going to available for our teachers, and we are basically looking more into high school teachers, middle school teachers. Those are the ones who would be actually benefit the most from using these applications. So we will also take a look at the benefits and challenges of using AI in the art classroom. And at the end, we will see how we can implement or have some ideas for using practical ideas for using AI in the classroom as well. Okay, so let's start. So by now, I think we all know what AI is, what artificial intelligence means. It's simply the field of a computer science that create intelligent creations. So it's mimicking basically the human brain. But again, it's never going to be like the human brain because humans are the ones who made it. So whenever we have this question, is it going to replace us in the future? Are we going to be, as teachers, replaced by AI or robots in the future? I don't see this coming, and I hope that you feel the same way too. So what happens is the AI algorithms in any AI tool that you use, you already have some sort of a machine that learns from the input or the prompts that you put into it, and it starts getting smarter after every prompt you add. So the results keep on developing. So let's say that I've added a prompt to a certain website to create a certain photo or a picture for me. If I use this prompt, let's say a couple of weeks later, the image itself that will be created will be totally different because the machine is learning from every input that is added to it. Every time someone creates a new project or a new photo on it. Again, the purpose of it is not to replace teachers. It's not gonna be something that would substitute your work. This is something to support you. Remember when the internet was first introduced to the world, everyone said that it's gonna be something that we won't be able to live without. Of course, yes, but again, the human input is important for the internet also to have its impact on the world. So it's important to understand that the purpose of AI is to make our work easier, but again, it's not going to replace us completely. Now, when it comes to the impact, of course, it has revolutionized industries, and it has also changed the landscape of future jobs. Like, there have been many jobs that were created because of AI existence, and some jobs that were modified, some jobs that will actually disappear in the near future because of the revolution that is happening in the AI field. So, if we are taking a look at some tools that you can use for our teachers, now there are different tools that you can use. I'm not sure if you have tried any of them before or not. So if there is anyone here who used AI before in their classrooms, I'd be more than happy to listen to your experience and let me know what do you think about it, how you used it, how it affected your classroom so far. So if any one of you has done that, please share the discussion with us now.
Actually, I have my own experience, but I think I'll share it in my presentation. So better to postpone it till my presentation, or what do you think?
Mm-hmm. It's totally up to you. It doesn't have to be something in...
Israa,
yes.
we're going to be waiting for the questions by the end of your presentation, please.
Okay.
Yes.
We're setting all of the questions by the end of the 3 presentations. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, the thing is, I just wanted to know if there are any teachers here who has experienced using AI in their classrooms before. So I just want to know if they are familiar with any of the tools that they can actually see here on the screen. So for example, have they tried before the text to image generators or not? So for example, what is a text to image generator? It's basically a website where you go and you type some description to an image or a scene that you want to have, and it translates these prompts into a real image. Not real, of course, but what I mean is it translates it into an image. So for example, we have a website called Leonardo, and it's actually one of my favorites. Okay, so let me show you, for example, this video. Okay. So this is a 4-second video that was created by Leonardo. How did I create this one? How did this happen? So it's all about the prompt. Let me tell you something. When it comes to AI tools, it's all about the prompt. What do you put in the prompt and how it's gonna be translated into an actual image or photo. So I can see here that in the comments, yes, Night Cafe, yes, very good, yes. Firefly, Canva Magic, exactly, very good, okay. So Leonardo is one of the tools that I'm sure you're not gonna regret using. Now, what you need to do is simply sign up with your email or even a Gmail. And once you're in, what you need to do, you can see that there are here some training and data sets to help you understand how you can use it. But one of the things that I like about Leonardo is that it helps you when you add your own prompt. So you have here image generation, you have canvas editor, real-time generation, you have real-time canvas, you can even have motion as like the one that we just saw. So what happens is when we go to an image generation, for example, and you need here to take a look that it's going to look like a studio. Okay, you feel like you are in your own studio. Don't get distracted by all the features. You can go and explore them one by one later. But one of the good things about it is that when you put here, for example, this prompt here, let me add a prompt for you. So let's say create an image of a hyper realistic farm with imaginary animals and plants. Okay, and here you can simply click here on generate. Okay, so once you do this, before you do this, you need to make sure how many images do you want them, like a suggestion to show you. So I want 1, I want 2, I want 3. So let's say I want 3 images only. What difference would that make? The difference would be in the number of coins it uses, because now you are on the free version of this website. So of course you need to be careful when you are using your coins or your free account and the free coins that you have, because once they are done, you need to buy more. And this is something that you will find in most of the AI tools, the good AI tools actually, that they would give you, they call it, it's the freemium version, which means that they're going to give you some free coins at the beginning or free credit at the beginning that you're going to use for a while, but then you're going to have to pay afterwards in order to continue using your account. So if I did this and I said, for example, I need 2 images. Okay, now here you can also choose the size of the images. What size do you want? Okay, depending on where you're going to be using it. Okay, and let's say, and then you can see here the generate. Click on generate. So it's going to take a little bit until it generates the photo for you, but you can see the progress here. It's the number of seconds that it's taking. So this is, for example, one of the photos that you can find. Okay, now you can generate a motion video from this photo. So let's say I chose this one, okay, and I chose to make it as a video. So it's called image to motion. You can also do that, but as you can see, it needs some coins in order to do this. Okay, so let's see if I have enough coins, okay, or tokens, and see how it's gonna work. Hopefully I still have some. So as you can see, Leonardo is, I can say that it's quite a comprehensive tool, because in this tool, you can create both images and you can create motion or videos at the same time. There is another one or another tool that can be used also, which is called Midjourney. Midjourney also is a very nice tool that you can use to create images. But as you can see, the difference in images generated, that when it comes to Midjourney, it's more realistic. It's more of a realistic and more personalized photos or images that will be created using Midjourney more than Leonardo. So this is something that you can actually see. So here is the video after the image has been changed or modified into becoming a video. So those are the 2 main tools that I highly recommend when it comes to using AI text-to-image generation. Now, if we are going to take a look at another one, which is the image style transfer. This is when you have a certain image and you want to change it to another one. So this is called the Deep Dream Generator. Now, I'm going to put the links of these websites for you in the chat box so you can all have access to them, okay? So this is Leonardo. This is Midjourney. And the third one, which would be the Deep Dream. So as I've mentioned earlier, these websites, they give you certain credit at the beginning, and once the credit is ended, then they will need to have a certain type of subscription in order to keep on using them. Now, if we are looking at this image, what happens here is that you upload any image that you have, let's say your own image or something. So, and then you have to put it in a certain scenario. And this is something, one of the very interesting ways of using such tools with your students, because they can put their own photos into different scenarios. So what I did is, after I uploaded my photo, I asked here in the prompt to make the image as a pirate on a boat. Okay, so when I clicked on generator, this is the photo that I got. So you can see that it changed some of my features, but again, you can see behind me that I'm clearly on a boat. I have this pirate braid. So it has made some changes in a way to my own personal image or my own personal photo, so as to become related to the prompt that I have added. So this feature, you can't find it in Leonardo or in Midjourney. So Deep Dream can be used for this feature. Okay. Night Cafe, I'm happy to see that some of the teachers here have already used it. And Night Cafe is also nice in creating landscapes and in creating not only like personal images, but you can use it to create landscapes. So this is an example of a prompt that I added. The same prompt that actually I added in Leonardo, which is a hyper-realistic farm with imaginary animals. But now you can see the difference between this photo and this photo that was created by Leonardo. This one is a little bit like in cartoon way, but this one you can see that it's more realistic and it has more details in it. So Night Cafe is really nice when it comes to using or creating images or scenes that actually can be more personalized and more realistic than the other websites. Okay, so here I can also put this link for you.
Israa, some of the
Yes.
teachers internationally are using Canva 13.
Yes.
And they
yes.
were asking about regulation of using it inside of the classroom, so they would check if they are using it correctly.
So when it comes to using, so I'm not sure about the question. Are they specifically asking about Canva in the classroom or AI tools in general?
No, Canva specifically, and they are using it for 13 years old. Okay,
Yes.
is there like an age limit for using specific programs that you do training? Because from what we understood, that you're doing training for teachers to use these tools for AI, and everyone is wondering, is there like limit for the age for every tool? We need to know about that, please. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So when it comes to the tools that I have just mentioned, there is no age restriction for them. So if they are going to be used, they need to be used under the supervision of the teacher. This would be more preferable to be done under the supervision of either the parent or the teacher while they are using it, because these are not like 100% educational or used only for school students or something. So it has to be monitored or under adult supervision. I hope this answers the question.
Okay, thank you. In a minute, let's look about if there is any other comment.
Okay. I'm just mindful of the time. We have to keep an eye on our time. So Israa, if you can summarize, we have the
exactly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look now into some tools or strategies of using AI in the classroom. One of the things that you can use, this is an example of it, is you can actually take the photos of the students, like what we did, for example, in Deep Dream, and you can upload it and try to generate AI version of it. So this also can be some gives some excitement to the students to see how it's going to look like if it's AI generated. It can boost the creativity. It can show them how they can be more creative actually than using the AI tool itself. So this is something that they can take a look at, and you can have or spark the discussion with your students in it. Okay. Another way is personalizing, as we've mentioned here. So this is, for example, a teacher who has put his photo in different situations. So this is also another thing that you can use. You can also put, you can merge, like, let's say, two.
Hello, Sahar, we seem to have lost Israa.
Yeah, I think she's offline or something.
Not to worry, I'll get back to her.
That's
we'll
okay.
just,
We can just get to the next speaker and then get Israa back to finish up her comments. It's fine.
indeed. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Next speaker, please.
Okay, no, we'll just go ahead. So while we're waiting for Israa to go forward, I'll just
Yeah, just go ahead and do the introduction, please.
thank you, Sahar. Can you all see my screen? I hope so. Here we go. So while I was researching and getting ready for this afternoon, it reminded me of a very good expression I heard from Albert Hubbard, which is one machine can do the work of 50 men, but no machine can do the work of one extraordinary person, which I happen to think that our teachers are. And I know for a fact our next speaker, Petra, is an extraordinary speaker. And I'm going to look forward to introducing Petra now. So Petra comes to us from the University of Austria, and she works with the Department of Education there, and she's going to talk to us about the critical and creative work our tools have in art education. Hello, Petra, can you hear us?
Yes.
This is a little bit like the Eurovision way back in 1950. So what I'm going to do now is just switch. Petra, do you want to share your screen with us, or do you want me to open up your slides? It's your choice.
I'm fine with both, I guess.
Okay.
I can share my screen, I think.
Go ahead.
But I'm not the host, but
if you wish to.
Just need
Okay.
to unshare yours, Angela.
Absolutely. Now, Petra, are you there? Thank you, Susan. Where would I be without you, Susan? Okay, so
we can do it without her, my dear.
No, we can't. So Petra, there you go.
Petra, now we can see you.
And
Great.
now I'm going to mute myself. Petra, take it away, as Gabriel used to say.
I have just to move you to a different screen. Too many screens here. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, dear.
Yes, great. So, nope, that was too fast. I'm sorry. Okay, I have to do it like this, apparently, because the other screen doesn't work that way. I hope it's fine that way. I'm sorry. Because otherwise I can't see my notes about the artists anymore, but I make it a little bit bigger for you. Okay, great. In the first talk, you already heard a little bit about the stuff I'm going to talk to. It's similar examples, but I'm taking a different approach to that. So first of all, of course, thank you for the kind invitation, the kind words beforehand. And I decided to give you a short theoretical input in the concept of computational empowerment at the beginning, which is also my focus of my dissertation right now. And then I will try to illustrate the versatility of how this topic can be approached with 3 practical considerations with reflexive aspects. And yes, I'm just start with that, I think. And yeah, our everyday lives and therefore also education are increasingly dominated by digitalization processes and digital technologies. And many of the current discourses of this topic in general and in relation to digitalization are often focused in a kind of bipolar way, in a dichotomous view, I think. And they just focus on the positive potential effects or the negative effects. But of course, the truth is somewhere in between. So more often, however, the corresponding tendencies are, like I said, somewhere between. And for example, distance learning or working from home during the COVID pandemic here in Austria has on the one hand demanded a faster use of technology. But on the same time, however, this has also increased educational inequalities. Another example would be dealing with social media in education, Also, on the one hand, it has never been so easy to access new information, but on the other hand, we are selling our data to large companies and are very much exposed to fake news. And artificial intelligence has therefore become also another field of tension recently. And in doing so, they set a clear task for education and therefore also for us educators. And students should be able to use technology confidently and independently. And they should perceive themselves as effective and creative actors in social changes. And therefore, I work with the concept of computational empowerment. And this is a methodological approach I'm working with right now. And it works with the focus of creative design aspects in digital education. And the formative and creative use of technology in education not only strengthens and provides digital skills, it also has a positive influence on the learner's self-perception as creators at a social and also discourse level. And computational empowerment as a teaching and learning method is based on the principles of participatory design, which comes from Scandinavia. And whereby just use the abbreviation CE if it's fine for you. Thereby CE also places a special focus on the reflective analysis of digital technology. So here right now, I'm referring to Iverson and Dindler, who shaped that kind of term. There are lots of papers. If you're interested in it, I can send them to Angela, for example, and then you can get the papers therefore. And CE deals with...
Petra, could you just put your screen onto full screen with your slideshow from the current slide? That way we can see everything.
Yeah, I can try. The problem
Perfect.
is... that I can't see my notes anymore then.
My apologies, Petra. Show it the way you like it. Go back to where it was.
Otherwise, of course, you can use the you can show the presentation and I talk, but the problem is otherwise I can't.
No, go ahead, Petra. That's fine. Go back to the way you were.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Just could use the reference and view.
Sure.
Okay. So where have we been? Good. It was about the CE aspect. Yes. Yes, so the CE deals with the use and understanding of digital technology in a creative and also in a constructively critical way. So this approach is intended to enable a multi-layered learning experience through the creation of ideas and also the doing something with your hands and with doing like something directly. And it is essential to the students contribute, discuss, and reconstruct their own knowledge and values. So the students themselves become designers and also active co-creators of their own learning experience. And the teachers therefore act as facilitators, for example, who structure the process then. And this creative use of technology can include everything from digital games to VR technology and robotics to audio and video design, but also, of course, the creative use of artificial intelligence plays here a part. And as I already mentioned, I'd like to show you 3 different ideas you could use for art education. It's just suggestions and nothing in detail, but I already used these kinds of ideas as modified forms in workshops with teachers and students. So the first one would be the most technical one with machine learning in art. And therefore, you don't need an extensive technical knowledge. Well, you don't need in any of these examples, but this one is maybe the most technical one. Most of the informations are on the websites I'm going to show you, or copy the links into the chat afterwards. And it's quite user-friendly, to be honest. So even if you're not an IT expert, you can use it pretty well as a beginner. In addition, all these applications are for free. They're all browser applications, which mean you don't need anything installed. And so far, they have worked on all the students' devices. And also, you don't have, like we had in the before talk, these points you have to give for getting images. It's more, you can generate as many pictures as you want to with these programs. And in the first example, like I already said, I'm going to talk about machine learning and computer vision. And the good thing is you don't need any programming skills for these two Google applications. At first, I will briefly explain the two tools, and then I'm going more into detail about what you can do with them. So Teachable Machine, you can quickly and easily create machine learning models for websites and apps. And this allows you to teach a computer to recognize your own images, sounds, and poses. And to do so, appropriate data sets must be collected at the beginning. So the quickest way to do so is, for example, via webcam that the students use in small groups. And for example, the students can hold up objects up to the camera and teach the algorithm with, for example, what a flower is or what a shoe is. And what I like to do, for example, is to portray and classify feelings or poses from well-known paintings or statues. So it becomes really interesting when you train your own model, and then you have to test it by students. For example, does the algorithm recognize the emotional state of another student when she sits in front of the camera and uses the model that has been trained by a different group? Or does it only recognize the emotional state of the students who created the original data set? So this exercise with Teachable Machine is a great start to talk about bias, for example. It can be used to point out that AI can only work in the way it has been trained. And you have to pay attention to the data accordingly. And also with this example, Scroobly works quite well. This application I showed already at the InSEA Congress because I really like to work with it. Because also it's free, you don't have to log in. You can use it immediately with even young children. And this application recognizes human bodies, which can be digitally painted over by the students. So you can create little colorful monsters, for example, that can be animated live by the students. And these can be recorded by 15 seconds videos, which I can show you in the next slide. The left one is Teachable Machine, where you can train the models. For example, in this case, it recognizes the person herself or with her dog. And the second example is Scroobly, where you have to draw the person, animal, monster, whatever you want to design. And then it recognizes your body on the webcam, and you can try to express yourself with this application. And as you can see, this application has a much more low threshold approach than Teachable Machine. And that's why it also works with young children. The youngest ones I've used it so far were 12 years old, but I'm pretty sure it works with younger children and tablets or iPads also. And also at the same time, it's so much fun that I've been able to keep adult teachers also busy with this for a long time. So it works from very young children to already elderly teachers. So it's a great approach to talk about computer vision and machine learning. And also when you want to work with Scroobly, I think the example of the subject of feelings is a great approach. Because now you could also try with Scroobly to try to portray the feelings you choose. So since it's not that easy to show facial expressions here in Scroobly, you have to find another creative way to use graphical representations, colors, or body language to express the same feelings you wanted to show with Teachable Machine to recognize it. Also, what I've been thinking the last few days about was the creation of filters with Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok, because that's the same way they work. And there are special programs for this to work with face recognition. And this approach ties also directly with the students' everyday lives. So it would be a great idea. But I have to admit, I'm still working on this myself and I'm trying it out. So far, I don't have like concrete programs you could work with. But as soon as I have more ideas, of course, I can give them to you also. And another idea I'm working very often at the moment is with image generators. We've been talking about them before, and I'm using Stable Diffusion and Dream AI because Stable Diffusion doesn't need any registration. You can use it immediately. You can generate as many pictures as you want, and you can use it directly in the browser. The images themselves sometimes are a little bit, I have to be honest, crappy. So you really have to work on your prompts and get more in detail. But I think that's a great challenge for the students too, because then a few students have amazing solutions right at the start, and the others are getting curious and are more engaged and want to get these pictures too. So it's also, you can see there's a challenge with Stable Diffusion. And for Dream AI, unfortunately, you have to create a free account. But there is both a browser application and a free app for smartphones, so you can use them on the smartphone too. And you can generate as many pictures too as you want to. And there's also, so far, no problems about the age, because you said you're teaching younger children. It shouldn't be a problem. I've checked beforehand now at the website. There are no age regulations in there. It's more about, reposting pictures, like in that content. They have a lot of regulations, but not in age regulations. Also, a good thing about Dream is it offers the option of generating images according to predefined art styles. So you can already use like a kind of Gothic style or anime style. Like there's different ways to generate pictures in that way. And yeah, the image-to-image function here is a great way I'd like to use in both applications, because you can upload, like we already have seen, self-created sketches and edit it in further using it and edit it. Sorry, I can't talk today. It's hard. And edit them and using then corresponding prompts. And last Thursday, for example, I had 2 groups of students rework traditional paintings with AI because we didn't have that much time to sketch by themselves. And they used so many different artworks, from classical ones like the Mona Lisa and Andy Warhol to different pictures of riders and knights, and tried to regenerate or to recreate these with AI. And we had some great discussions afterwards if these reworked paintings are still art in the eyes of the students. Or on the other hand, there was also a lot of discussions about the process. Is it more art when there's more process in it, when they have to rework it again, have to think about how they want to change it? So it was a big discussion about the definition of art itself, which was really interesting to hear from 14-year-old students. And another theoretical starting point here would be a discussion about the copyright, because I think that's a thing we all have to talk about. Especially now when there is a huge wave of new artwork. And in this example with the traditional artwork, I'm not only using thousands and thousands of works of art in the data to train the algorithm, I'm already using actively artwork by another artist to create new art. So you can use both sides to discuss that with the students. Where starts the problem with the copyright for them. And therefore, I also brought one example with me. I used an illustration I made by myself because it was the easiest way and I don't have any problems with the students afterwards. This is a screenshot made on the app Dream AI, and on the left side you're seeing the illustration. On the right side you're seeing the revision the AI made. So it's a little bit more detailed and a little colorful now. And I think below the picture is a quite interesting feature. Dream allows you to adjust the influence of the AI art style, which makes it quite interesting. Because the stronger the influence, the more the original image changes. So you have a lot more options to influence the picture you had before. And also, as you can see, the Dream also offers a premium version if you want to create 4 images at the same time. However, the free version is perfectly fine for working with students. In contrast to many other AI tools, you can, like I already said, and can generate an infinite number of images. So you don't have to worry about these limitations. It works pretty fine to me. And at the end, I'll show you briefly a third option. Yes, and the third variant is also very much centered about the concept and definition of art. And here I'd love to start having students research which AI artists currently exist and what their work with AI looks like. And below I've provided some examples in the image bar on the bottom. And the first one is by David Hockney himself. So the left one is the original, The Dancers, number 5, I think. And on the right side is The Dancers Removed by AI. So that's the new title. And the second one is also pretty well known, I think. It's the portrait of Edmond de Bellamy by the artists collective Obvious, which has been sold for, I think, $16 million, if I remember right. So it was the first art piece, AI art piece that has been sold in a huge way. And the other two ones are quite interesting in my way. That's why I loved to show them also. The third one is Scott Eaton, Artist and AI, Figures and Faces. So he's using his sketches, which you can see on the left side a little bit, and uses AI to transform human photography into his pictures and plays with anatomy of human bodies. And Robbie Barrett works together with his father, who's a painter too, and they're working collaboratively. So he's a media artist, and he takes the paintings of his father and fills empty spaces with AI. And this is, for example, one of these pictures. And in a further step, the students are asked to create their own digital exhibition in groups. So they can use their own AI-generated works when you worked beforehand with that, or with works by established artists. That would be also an option. So then they have to decide what is worthy to take in a gallery and show it to other people. And through platforms like ArtSteps, students can create a digital art gallery and display works for free. So that's also, you just have to register and that's it. And then you can use the simple version for free. And yeah, you can place the images of course, but you can also place texts, videos, and audios. So I think that's also a great option. So you can have an multimedia exhibition with AI work, which is great. And yes, like I already said, since the portrait of Edmond de Bellamy, so the second one, there have been repeated outcries and discussions about the art market and the influence of AI in recent years. And there's a large number of news articles that you can refer in the discussion with the students. So I will copy the examples into the chat afterwards. Like the Theater de Opera special by Jason Allen was a huge thing. That was won a digital art prize, exactly a digital art prize. Or Boris Alexander's The Electrician won a photography prize. So there are lots of things happening right now where AI art takes places in traditional art spaces. So that's something you can discuss there very, very well. And I'll show you here also one example of art steps. Genau, here are like AI interpretations of Magritte, the Son of Man, and a little bit of AI art with cats and computers. Like you can see, you can, when the exhibition is finished, you can move with the mouse or with your keys through the room and look at the paintings, but also gather information by clicking at them and getting text information, for example. Great. And there are lots of chat. There is it. If you stop.
Perfect.
Great. I just have to see the comments. Is there something immediately? No.
I
Petra,
think
we'll have
everyone...
Q&A at the end of the session. Sorry, Sahar, we'll seem to have lost Petra's picture there.
Oh.
Yes. Hello, Petra. Are you still with us?
I'm still here with you.
Fantastic, Petra. Okay, well, we'll have a Q&A, Petra, in about 20 minutes after we have the pleasure of Professor Radwan having his chat. That was the last slide, am I correct, Petra?
Yeah,
do you want us to try and share screens again?
No, I'm totally fine.
You're back, excellent.
I will copy the links with the applications into the chat. So I think it's easier for you to find them. And yeah, that's it, I guess.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Petra. That was really wonderful. And we're looking forward to all the questions people are writing down now to ask you at the end. And I'm going to hand over the introduction for the next speaker to Sahar. Sahar, take it away.
Okay. I'll be doing the first introduction first in Arabic, and then we're switching to English. We're doing it the other way. أستاذ دكتور أحمد رضوان، أستاذ دكتور في قسم العمارة في كلية الفنون الجميلة جامعة حلوان، واحد من أعز أصدقائي، يمكن أنا أعرفه وشهادتي مجروحة فيه since we were like 15 or 16 حاجة كده. حد متميز، صديق عزيز، أخوي، ما فيهاش هزار. طبعا تميزه في مجال العمارة حكاية، وتميزه في تدريب ال AI حدوتة تانية خالص. فاحنا النهاردة هنشوف جو مختلف، دمج ما بين أكبر قطاع من قطاعات تدريس الفنون وهو العمارة، وهو بيتبنى فنون كتير وبينقلنا ليه من خلال techniques of AI. ممكن would you please translate to English, Angela? Angie?
Muting myself. Hi there. I'm just unmuting myself. Good afternoon, everybody. We're very lucky to have Professor El-Radwan with us. Professor El-Radwan, if you can share your screen with us, we'd much appreciate it. Or Sahar, you can upload and link the presentation. Professor El-Radwan is fantastic, is working in the Helwan University in the Architecture and Town Planning Center. And I'm really looking forward to hearing his experience in using AI in education. Shukran jazilan, Professor Yani. And we're looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you so very much. And I'm just going to mute myself now.
I'm so happy to be with you among these distinguished people. And let me start first by thanking my dear colleague, Sahar. Professor Sahar and me have been together since many years. I don't want to say exactly how many years, but we have been in the same classroom since we have been in the English schools together. So thanks again, Professor Sahar, for your very, very nice introduction to me. And I hope, inshallah, that my presentation will shed the light on one of the important arts that Professor Sahar said or talked about, which is architecture. Let me first share with you the shift that we are witnessing among the world. Among these arts is architecture. Nowadays, we are witnessing a very, very great shift from the process of education to the process of learning, with a special focus on architecture and urban design and planning as my profession. I can smoothly and comfortably say that now our role in the university is witnessing a paradigm shift
instead of being professors giving theoretical lectures or even linking the theory to the practice in the market or in the real life projects. I think in the very few years, we have to rethink about our role as universities and professors, whether by splitting our schools and departments into programs or by skills that are required in the market and required in the real practice with all the challenges that they do have. Let me first talk about my presentation, which will be talking about almost a year and a half of exploring AI deeply as an architect and as a professor of architecture in one of the eldest schools of arts in the Middle East, which is the Faculty of Fine Arts. During this year, I can very simply say that I started from scratch, just seeing some of the friends on the social media sharing their experiences. So I decided to go and start learning and start experimenting by myself. And this is exactly what I'll show and I'll share with you today. Through the deep learning, as my colleague Israa has said in her presentation, these tools are trying to be similar to the way, or to understand the way how the human being is thinking and taking decisions, and how these decisions are made in fact. But until now, I can say, and I can second my colleague's opinion, that still the human brain and the human intelligence couldn't be replaced until the moment. Yet these tools are helping us maybe in taking better decisions or in saving our time for more creative process, more creative products, whether on the scale of arts, architecture, or even product design. The first thing that I learned is that these tools are doing a very simple thing. Any tool of AI is consisting of two models, the generator model and the discriminator model. The generator model is trained to generate new examples, whether in the form of texts or images or videos or sound files or whatever. And the discriminator model, which is built inside the tool, is trying to refuse or to classify some examples and discriminate them to see the best results of the model. Then comes our role, which is discriminating some of the outputs or excluding some of the outputs that are not similar to the reality. I started by explaining how the machine evolved from the very beginning till now, passing by the automatic machines, the programmed machines, the learning machines, till the deep learning machines represented in our AI tools that we are using nowadays. And I usually use the example in my presentations and in my lectures that the cars started by a carriage run by horses, and now we have autonomous cars or vehicles that are run by machines or learning machines, whether they are self-driving or they are assisted driving vehicles. But in the very near future, we will find cars that are driving on its own with no assistance even by any sort of drivers or human interference. Going more to what I tried during these years, I started, as all of us have started, by testing the text-to-text represented in the ChatGPT, Bard, Cloud, POE, and other tools. Then my profession enforced me to use the text-to-image tools represented in Midjourney, Leonardo, Dream, AI, and others. Then we started in developing our human sketches and hand-drawn sketches and figures into more rendered by AI tools. Then the last thing used in our research work, which is image to text, by inputting these images of buildings or of the city in itself or parts of the heritage of our cities into the tools and asking the tool to describe and to analyze these images. This year or the previous year, we heard a lot about the prompts, and each one of us started to study what is a prompt. Then a new engineering sector has raised up, which is prompt engineering, represented in how the way we are crafting to the AI tool our prompts, and how this prompt through a deep understanding and studying of the prompt would lead to a very, very good result or not, based on our understanding and experience. ChatGPT was a huge example of this dramatic change in our way of thinking, whether in using it in text generation, whether for making a quick article or giving even us some ideas for a research paper. I'm not here talking about the copyrights, because this might need a lot of time to be discussed deeply, but I'm talking about it as a tool that is happening and that is under our hands, on our mobile phones, on our laptops, with our children, with our students. So it's a fact that we need to understand more and to discuss and study how we will use it together. Talking about the bots and a wider usage of the bots in many sectors of our life, in the banks, in the telecommunication, in the companies. Then talking about the ChatGPT and how the ChatGPT or the text-to-text revolution has affected many sectors of our educational systems, in our research, in our studies, and even in our practice. Then here I come to the most important part of our profession, which is the visual representation of our ideas as architects. And that actually was a very, very important change in the usage of AI. Let me first say that AI has been used widely since many years. Yet what happened in the previous years, the previous 2 years actually, is using it in a more friendly way. What does that mean? That means that you can simply give the tool, which is an application or a website, a couple of words or sentences, asking this tool to generate an image in a very short time. Before that, we used to take very long hours of rendering and of building the model to produce such an image like that on the right side of the screen. Now, in a couple of seconds, you can have this rendered image with your ideas, whether from scratch or whether from any source, from the internet or from any building in the reality. You can take a picture with your mobile and ask the tool to make a similar idea for that image. Furthermore, we started to compose groups of architects, of students, of professionals, and asking these members to think of how can we use AI in architecture. Surprisingly, we found that we can have 12 domains of using AI in architecture and urban design, whether on the educational level or on the practice level. I myself took the one in the middle, which is the generative design, and I started to dig deeply and to work more intensively on this generative design idea among this year and a half. As well, I asked my students of the postgraduate courses that I teach to think how can we apply or use AI in architecture and urban design research. They also discovered and explored many tools and they started to use them. Maybe there would be a chance to share their findings by sending the link to Professor Sahar if any one of you want to learn more about how and what are the tools used in research. The domain that I'm working on, as I said, is architecture and its intersection with art. I started to share this knowledge by giving public lectures in universities and in public centers in Egypt. Some of them were online, some of them were face-to-face. Then I started trying using Midjourney as a paid tool because it is more accurate than the other unpaid or free tools. It's very, very professional, producing very high quality images. And so far for me, I learned how or knew how to work with it to produce many of the images or the visual content of architecture that I was planning to produce. We started by giving the tool some prompts about giving us proposals for public buildings, for example, as a cultural center. It gave us different alternatives, yet it was very, very premature at that time. So we started again with my students and my colleagues to think of something which is near to us by having, for example, a lady smiling face, so that we can see how the tool could understand the prompt and its evolution from one trial to another. So we asked, for example, the tool to give us the lady in golden ratio, golden hair, sharp details, and these are some of the outputs. Furthermore, we gave the prompt the layer of age, the nationality. For example, we asked the prompt to give us a look or an image for an Egyptian lady, giving more details in the prompt, and the outputs were so far much closer to the look of an Egyptian lady, sometimes inspired by one of the actors or something like that. Giving an artistic style to the image in itself was one of the objectives. By giving impressionism or something of any of the art schools. Through building or adding layers of information, the machine started to learn from us and from our attempts and trials. Then we went back to start making architectural attempts. The very beginning was very generic, dreamy images of homes because we didn't specify exactly what we need. So we went again and start making more detailed prompts to be crafted and given to the tool, having all the details of the buildings, colors, materials, architectural schools, surrounding atmosphere or background, sometimes adding a layer of reality by giving the prompt, the kind or the type of the cars, the trees, the color of the building, as I just mentioned, the materials, the time of the shot in itself, whether by night or at the daylight. The nice thing that from time to time we can compare our outputs to of others and see where we stand exactly. And this is very good about Midjourney, that you can stop at any point and see whether you are going on a good track or you need to elaborate more on the prompt level or on the description of what you exactly want the machine or the tool to get for you. Of course, we, after a certain period of time, have our own style, whether of architecture or even of the prompt crafting in itself. Surprisingly, when you work after many attempts, the machine starts understanding you. So the lesser words you write, the more accurate results the machine gave to you. Inspired by the work of some of the famous architects like Zaha Hadid, for example. That was a very hard job for us with the students. Now the students can just write or type the name of Zaha Hadid or any of the famous architects, and the output, as you can see, is inspired directly by the work of these famous architects and their architectural schools or theories. Back again to the very first image. This image previously would take us like at least a continuous work of 10 days of building the model, then rendering, then taking a time for rendering and editing the lighting and editing the materials. This image is now produced in a couple of seconds, maybe less than a minute. with very, very various options that you can choose from. Inserting another layer of architectural schools are nouveau.
Professor Ahmed, we have only 3 minutes left.
Okay, I'll wrap quickly.
Okay, thank you.
As you can see that introducing the architectural schools with an addition to the students, in a couple of seconds you can rebirth any architecture school. Art Deco, I'll go quickly. Brutalism, even as you can see, giving us different alternatives for the elevations of the buildings. Different architectural schools are more understood by students through trials, try and error, even changing the sketches of the students. And this is not the work of a student, it's the work of one of our colleagues, Professor, just made this sketch and gave it to the tool, and the renders are extremely impressive. Working with heritage, working with the cities and the scenery of the city in itself, using different tools in different eras. I'll go quickly because Professor Sahar is giving me a warning. On the left-hand side, it's a very simple sketch. We gave this sketch to the tool and asked the tool to describe it. We take this description and re-enter this description to the tool, and the outputs are better sketches. Very simple one, changed to a rendered one in almost no time. Inspiration of some of the nice buildings or some of the well-known buildings, producing alternatives. Then we took this to another layer, which is connecting architecture and art in drawing some visual images of our cities and old villages in Upper Egypt. This is the output, and you can see the prompt is increasing by giving a lot of information about the location of Nubia, for example, in Upper Egypt, talking about the architectural features of Nubia. Prague, Germany.
Now, just please, if you can type, Dr. Ahmed, the link for the, the pictures that you shared for your show.
Yes. I'll give
please
you all.
Just type it. Just only type it in the chat.
Yes,
that would be lovely to look at.
I'll share with you all the presentation, and it has the links of everything. And these are different alternatives and different attempts. As you can see, to produce only one of these images, you need to try many of the images and to refuse some of them because some of them are not exactly what we need. After a certain time, we discovered that the machine learns a lot of us. At the end, I gave the machine a very simple prompt, asking it to make a drawing for a boy. Surprisingly, it gave me an image of a boy exactly like my son. So I don't know how. We are working now to relate how the machine is thinking and how the machine is relating our social media, for example. Is there a relation or not? We don't know. Sometimes some of the outputs are not exactly what we need, so refuse it. Giving a style based on the brand of the car, for example. And the question now, which is popping up, does the machine learn from you? Until now, we have a basic answer, yes. Should we think the same way? These are some of the questions regarding education, regarding practice. Do we have a wider area of creativity and innovation or not? Should we educate in the same way or not? These are questions actually we are asking ourselves in all the academic and the practice events.
It's just fascinating. It's really fascinating when we look at it and hear what you're talking about. Your comments. It's the way, the approach that was taken in university to teach that and use it in architecture is different totally than what we do inside of schools.
The most important question is the last one, which is, should we use AI to produce the predictable or the unpredictable? And that is actually my question to my students. Are you using AI to produce the traditional things that I have been trying among the year, or we are thinking beyond the box? We are thinking beyond the traditional ways. Thank you for your attendance, and sorry for the long presentation, but really the domain is full of details and AI is adding a lot to our experience. Thank you again for being among you. Thank you, Sahar, for introducing me in that way, and waiting for your questions.
Thank you, everyone, for the attendance. Please, if you have any question, if you'd like to type it in the chat, go ahead. If you'd like to raise a hand and ask your question to the three speakers, you're welcome, please. Angie, you can take it from there.
Okay, excellent. So I'd like to thank everybody for coming today. If anybody does have questions, I'm really looking forward to hearing it from you, everybody. While I was waiting, I quickly put together these images from AI. I asked for what a Saudi art teacher would look like, and this gentleman popped up. An Irish art teacher, this lady popped up. And then I went and asked for an art class in Ireland, and of course, everybody has red hair. It's so biased, it's not funny. And in Saudi, they've all got Oriental writing, but nothing very much to do with the kingdom. And these two ladies down here, the film stars, you'd all be happy to know. The lady in the suit in the lower left, right-hand corner is an art teacher, according to Midjourney. And the lady next to her is an AI teacher. Not much difference. Wow. So I found that to be hilarious. Does anybody have any questions for our speakers? I have to thank our speakers today. They were all fascinating, and we'd love to hear any questions that might be had.
I have a question.
Fantastic, Susan.
All right. Well, I watch this, and all I want to do now is start playing on all these websites and playing with all these, you know, opportunities. How do we upskill the upcoming generation of new teachers in our subject, or can we just hope that they will all know more than we know?
Who would like to answer that one? Petra, you're the teacher trainer. How about you? Do you want to go for that one?
Yeah, of course I can. Yeah, the thing is, you can't expect it at all. So at the moment, the students use the technology, they do in the private life, in the everyday life, but they can't reflect it, and they don't have that step from using it to teaching it. So it's, you really have to focus on the teaching competence, and you can broaden it out to all digital tools, not only AI, but also to like VR, for example, or for digital games. That's my focus at the moment I work with. That's lots of content which seems like everybody uses it, and that's why you can teach it. But I think you need to learn new methods. And like I already said beforehand, the competition empowerment aspect leads to being more a facilitator to the students. And that's something, maybe that's a good approach for future teaching, to learning new approaches to help the students more, and less standing in front of them and saying that's the only right thing you can do. That helps.
Fantastic. Israa, you also train teachers in abundance. Do you want to have a shot at answering that question? Assalamu alaikum, Israa, انت موجود?
Yes, I'm here with you. But yeah,
تفضلي يا إسراء لو سمحت.
So is it possible that you can repeat the question again, please?
Absolutely. The question, Israa, was Susan posed, and Susan, you can correct me, of course. We have all these tools now, and how about teacher training? Is it going to be a constant, or can we introduce the tools and then wait for different educational boards to catch up with them? What are your thoughts? I know that's not perfect,
it should be a mix of both. because there are certain tools that would require certain professional training in order to at least get the basics and get the hands-on, and then they can continue it from there. So as I think we've all agreed after all these amazing presentations that the AI is something that is still developing, and every day there is something new. So there are some tools that some teachers or a lot of teachers may find easy to navigate on their own, but still there might be more complicated features and steps that might show up in the future that would require teacher training. So I guess it should be a mix of both.
Excellent. Do we have any more questions? I have one short question myself. We can just finish it. Petra, you said that the machines only work as well as they're trained. How long do you think it will be before the AI has overtaken us, has jumped ahead of us? How far until we're redundant, Petra, please?
That's not going to happen. So to be honest, the last few weeks I've been working again with tools more often. It seems worse. Like the generating images and texts are getting worse again. So I don't know what that's going to mean. Maybe it's getting better again afterwards, but at the moment it ain't going to happen. Especially in sectors like arts and education, I don't think we have to be afraid, because there's still that human component that's so important, and especially we still have to decide what is right and what is wrong, kind of, as a human person. So I don't think AI is going to take over that soon. I don't think so.
Well, on a personal note, I use Stable Diffusion in my school quite a bit, and I hold my breath every time a prompt goes in. We have to be really careful, and I spend hours teaching the girls about bias and also plagiarism and copyright. So it's a minefield, and it is just beginning. But I have discovered that even without my prompting our students, they're ahead of us, they're using it. So it's better to tackle it on, from my perspective, head on. Do we have any more questions?
I think there was a hand before up. I'm not sure if it's still here.
It was mine. It was mine. Sorry, I wasn't sure what time we were supposed to be finishing, so I didn't want to take the time, but it's a complicated question, so maybe I'll just leave it with the room. And it was Professor Yassin, you were talking about the image generated a young boy that was very similar to your son, and that was quite kind of unnerving for me to hear. And the similar but not the same has happened to me, and I wondered what your view was on that. And it relates to the conversation in the chat about young children particularly spending too long on screens. And there's a big activist campaign in the UK at the moment led by a parenting expert called Sue Atkins, who's talking about the damage that screen time is doing to children. I think the average was something like 5 to 7 hours a day. No, I think she was looking at 10 and 11-year-olds, but actually that wasn't including school time. So that's really worrying. But yes, I mean, it's probably too complicated for now, but maybe a brief answer.
Dr. Ahmed, السؤال ليك. Please go ahead and answer.
Yes. Actually, I cannot relate it to my son being exposed with a computer or the screen all the day. My point of view, maybe there is a relation between the AI tools that I'm using and the social media accounts that I have. I actually didn't thought the same way that you asked the question. I related it to the email account that I made the subscription on the Midjourney. This account is the same of Instagram, of Facebook, maybe on Apple Photos. I don't know. But actually this is something annoying me from another perspective, which is the exposure of the data that we do have on our accounts, on our emails. on our cloud computing tools, and how the AI is having full access to these things. The other worry that you raised is really important, Professor Penny, which is the exposure of our children to the internet and the phones, the tablets, and the computers, and the reliance that will happen or that they will use in using AI. For example, now when I talk to my young boy, asking him, you have to learn, you have to study, he says that everything now is in ChatGPT and Google, so there is no need to go and study these things because it will be obsolete in a very, very short period of time. So I think the whole issue is complicated, and my feeling is that we need to learn more about AI as educators before as other sort of users, because in very short time our students will have full access to all the AI tools. So we need to think what is the suitable way to guide them, whether these students are our children or our students in the universities or schools. So I think it's a complicated question. And actually, I don't know the answer.
No, thank you. And I think, yes, I think AI can be a companion in learning if it's used with kind of a critical sense of reflection. I mentioned that earlier, but no, thank you for your, the images of the architecture were beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So lovely.
Angie, do you want to wrap it up, please?
I am actually going to wrap it up right now. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. I really enjoyed listening to and benefiting indeed from everything that was shared with us. Shukran Jamian, Yani, we're so grateful. Yani, we're very grateful. Shukran Jazilan, and inshallah we'll see you all soon. I'd like to say we're looking forward to seeing everybody in the next meeting that we have. Susan, do you want to mention a couple of upcoming dates there? I believe we have a meeting soon.
We have an American, North America will present the next InSEA birthday webinar, and it will be, I'm looking desperately for the date here, but it is in March, I do know that, and I've just sent
We can check out our website. That's probably the best thing. Check out our website.
So we have a whole series of these.
بقفل خلاص أنا دقيقة أونلاين وأوصلك.
Yeah, one a month for the whole of the 12 months of the 70th anniversary of InSEA.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Susan. Well, we'll wrap it up there, folks, and say again, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. And I look forward to seeing everybody again when we meet somewhere in the metaverse. Take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
شكرا جزيلا.